Hey guys, it is Jessica Hicks here, coming back with another video. And if you're new to my channel, I am a corporate recruiter and I typically give job tips and talk about companies that are hiring. But in this video, I'm actually going to be talking about my past experience in New York and what to expect when you visit New York City. So if you have family in New York City or are just looking to visit, well, you'll want to keep watching because I give a few little tidbits about what to expect when you get there. So I have a list to kind of guide me through the conversation, but I recently went to New York this month of October, and I have lived in New York and now I live in Texas, and I was going back to visit. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. As you're looking for flights, you're gonna see a limited number of flights now. There aren't as many direct flights, and you may see a change in prices. You might be able to find some really nice cheap flights, but then at the same time, you're gonna see that direct flights may become a little more expensive. At least that's what I've been seeing. The airport. LaGuardia Airport, which is where I flew in, and what I would recommend just because it's typically easier and a quick commute to most of the boroughs in New York, but it's gonna look really empty. It felt really eerie just walking into the airport. It literally felt like when I left in June or July, just nothing really open. There were a few more shops open than when I left before, but it was still very eerie and it just did not feel right. Just empty. When you get off the plane, you're gonna have people greet you immediately with a form. They're either gonna ask you where your form is, or they're gonna give you a form that basically outlines like where you're coming from, to know what state you're coming from, and also where you're going to, like what address will you be at, where can we contact you, what's your number. All these details you're gonna wanna fill out. They're also gonna ask you on this form if you've had any symptoms of COVID. I think if you've flown internationally, all of that. So be prepared to fill out that type of form. Also, when you book your flight, typically I think you will get a notification about it if you wanna already have the form ready, but you're gonna get that as soon as you land, so just be ready for it. But after that, once you fill out that form, everyone's very nice. You can go off and get on your way. Once I left the airport and got into Manhattan, things pretty much felt livelier than when I left. You can go to restaurants with the mask, of course, outside. It's busy. You can go to the stores and things like that. So there's still activities to do. There were still street performers. There were folks, kind of hustling on the streets and such, showing artwork and typical things that you would see in Manhattan. But there was just a lot less of it. So, where you might see a group of dancers and things, you would see, a small group, maybe 2 or 3 people or just one person. So, but there's still things to do. The main things to do there are going to be going to Central Park, of course, because the parks are open. They were open this whole time of this pandemic, but they were pretty crowded at the time. So as it gets colder, I'm sure less people will be going to the park. But I would say definitely go to Central Park. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. Manhattan and everything will probably still have displays for Christmas and such, and all of the holidays. So definitely worth a visit. But it may just look different, but it still feels lively. There's still that energy of New York there. Just not quite the same as before, of course. There were no theaters open and no museums open, so that's just something I guess we're gonna have to get used to until the foreseeable future. So overall, New York was definitely livelier than when I left early on in the summer to now, but as things get colder, we'll see what happens with New York. But overall, I would just say the main thing is to just prepare for your flight and everything, be very safe, make sure that, you're ready to fill out that form. The other thing to keep in mind is that after a day or so, like when you land, you will get a call from someone to help you understand, you know, your duties to stay in quarantine for 14 days, not to be out and about. Now, they're not necessarily tracking you. I got a call once I returned back home. I was already here when I answered, but they will continually call you. You'll be on their list. They will call you every single day until they get a response, because they want to know if you're, you know, if you understand that you need to quarantine. They want to make sure that you're feeling okay. Those are some of the things that I was asked about. So be ready to get a call about that. So whatever number you list on that contact form is where they're gonna give that call to. And then of course, I guess if something were to happen, they would have the address on file to find you as well. So that would be my other tip. I think that was all I wanted to talk in this video. I hope it's helpful if you are considering either going back to New York or just visiting family in New York City, or maybe you just want to visit and see New York City for the holidays. Well, those are a few tips for you ahead of your trip. So safe travels. And again, typically I post content job related, but wanted to do something special in lieu of my trip to New York recently and just share with you guys in case someone else was interested in knowing. All right, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.